Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to your Lunch Break Live. My name is Ivana Harinkyu. If you are new here, and if you're not new here and you're coming back in 2023, thank you for coming back. Today, I am joined by our AL.com weather reporter, Leigh Morgan. And Leigh is here today to talk about what you probably have trying to keep up with this morning, and that is severe weather. There is a risk for severe weather in Alabama today. We've got some detailed maps here we're going to walk through. Leigh's going to explain that a little bit and also talk about some of the risks for today. And yes, the T word, tornadoes, are possible as well. I know it's a little bit early in the year. We just got into 2023. That's not how anybody really wants to start the year off, but unfortunately it is possible today. Leigh, I'm going to hand this over to you in a second, but I'm going to pull up some maps and that way we can talk through it. But why don't we talk about the state first, and then we'll kind of go down like we usually do with the northern part of the state, the middle, and the southern part. And again, if you have specific questions about your area, drop them in the comments here and we'll do our best to get there. But Leigh, here's our overall outlook. So what can you tell us?
All right, now this is a map issued by the Storm Prediction Center, and what it shows is the risk for severe weather for today. So the areas in orange have a level 3 out of 5 risk for severe weather, or they call it an enhanced risk. And really what that means is that you can expect, if you're in that area, to see numerous severe thunderstorms. That's what's possible today. Now, the rest of the state has a level 2 risk, which is a slight risk, and that means there still could be severe thunderstorms, but they could be more scattered in nature and not quite as numerous as they're expecting to see down south. Now, that doesn't mean if you're not in the orange area, you're not going to see any weather. I mean, it's pretty much any place in the state today could see strong to severe storms. And what kind of storms? We're looking at the possibility of tornadoes. In that enhanced risk area, there's the possibility of some strong tornadoes. And what they consider a strong tornado is an EF2 or stronger tornado. We could have some damaging winds, we could have some hail, and we could also have some flooding. And we'll talk about flooding a little bit down the road. But that's the overview of the situation.
Well, and I moved that banner at the bottom so you could see the legend here, because the colors I know sometimes can get a little bit confusing here in what the colors mean. So again, that kind of reddish area that's outside of the greenish, it's outside of Alabama. So if you're looking at Georgia, if you're looking at northern Mississippi, those are the marginal risk and the thunderstorms, kind of like Leigh was describing. And then that yellow, which everything in the state is at least at that yellow, and that is at that slight risk. And then again, you move into that orange color, and that is the enhanced risk. And again, that legend there is at the bottom, so you can see the severity risk there. Leigh, I know you mentioned that the entire state is at risk today. Who is the most at risk for severe weather?
Well, I would be watching that area that's in the orange shade, the enhanced risk area. That's where there's slightly higher probabilities for those tornadoes, the severe winds, and flooding too. The National Weather Service has put out a map today showing a rainfall forecast in some areas down around Montgomery. They're forecasting could get 4 to 6 inches of rain between now and midday tomorrow. So they're flash flood watches for basically the southern half of the state. And so just keep an eye out. There could be a possibility of storms hitting the same areas again and again. And that's where you have to watch out for that flash flooding. And, it goes without saying, don't drive across a flooded road if you happen to come into one. And that happens a lot. So it's just a timely reminder to take that seriously. But so don't let your guard down, though, if you're in North Alabama, if you're in Central Alabama, if you're in the far southern part, south of Mobile, because you still could see storms too. In fact, we've got a tornado watch out right now, and it's a long one. It goes until 5 o'clock this afternoon, and that's going to cover a large part of North Alabama, part of West Central Alabama, and part of Southwest Alabama. So those will be the first areas under the gun. We're watching strong to severe storms back in Mississippi. All those are headed eastward, and they're expected more storms to develop over Alabama during the day today. So just be on guard wherever you are, because unfortunately, no one is out of the woods for this one.
Well, and Lee, I'm going to move on to another map here in just a second. I got some questions I want to ask you, but first, quickly looking at this map, we see that Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, even a little bit of Talladega, even Auburn are on that edge of that enhanced risk. So they are still in the lower category, but they're on the edges there. And also, you mentioned again that tornadoes could be present even in the northern part of the state. So tell me about the cities that are not in that risk. Are they still, or not in that higher risk category? Are they still at risk of tornadoes? Are they still at risk of severe weather, even though they're in the yellow here?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Don't let the colors, let your guard down just because you're not in that enhanced risk area, because there will be the possibility of tornadoes statewide. So no matter where you are in Alabama, you have the possibility of a tornado warning today. Hopefully not, but it is possible. So, no matter if you're in the enhanced risk area or not, be on your guard today, because tornadoes don't follow the little lines. They're not going to say, oh, I'm going out of the enhanced risk, I'm just going to dissipate. That does not happen, unfortunately. So just be on the lookout. Now, another thing I didn't mention is this severe weather round of severe weather could last a long time. So we're starting now. We could go into Wednesday morning before this is done. Okay. So it's going to be a long ranging event. There's some storms pushing into northwest Alabama and parts of West Alabama right now. Those aren't the end of it. Sometimes when you think that initial round of storms comes through, you're done. That is not the case this time. There could be several rounds of storms, and there's a cold front way back to the west that's just dragging, coming very slowly eastward. And it's not until that cold front passes through, which could be late tonight or Wednesday, that we can be all clear for severe weather.
That unfortunately, the longer storms are just the ones that we all, I think, dread the most, especially those overnight storms.
Yes.
Leigh, this is a potential rainfall map. Tell us about this. Again, you can see that legend there on the side with the color coding. Again, we know, as Leigh mentioned, unfortunately, weather does not stay in those color coded regions. That would be much easier and much more predictable if it did. Unfortunately, that's just not how it works. But you can see that Montgomery region, Montgomery, Auburn, even a little bit north of Troy, you can see those regions there are in that highest point of the potential rainfall. So Leigh, tell us about this.
Yeah, that's where the National Weather Service is thinking the most rain is going to fall between now and like Wednesday afternoon. So now we have rain everywhere. I mean, most of the state is forecast to get maybe an inch or so, but the higher totals are going to be really along south, around that I-85 corridor. So, and up to 6 inches in some places, and that much rain and that short of a time period could lead to flash flooding pretty quickly. And, it could happen at night when it's much harder to see what you're driving into. So just keep that in mind. And those are the areas that are covered. A lot of those areas that are forecast to get those higher rain totals are under a flash flood watch through in a lot of sometime Wednesday. There's 3 different ones in effect, and they all end at different times. But through Wednesday, you got to watch out for that flash flooding. But that's where, in those oranges and red shaded areas, is where the National Weather Service is thinking the higher rain totals are going to be.
We've got a comment here from Bonnie, and Bonnie is talking, and I think a lot of people are probably in the same boat. She said her kids just left Tampa, and they're on their way back to Birmingham. So, Leigh, I think sometimes, you and I are back at work today, right? But I think we forget a lot of people maybe not be back at work today. A lot of schools are still out. People are still coming home from those maybe New Year's or other holiday celebrations. So what about people on the road? What about people driving into Alabama? What should they be looking out for? And how should they be getting updates on the weather that they could be coming into?
Well, if you're driving, you've just got to stay alert, to the weather. Hopefully you have a good app on your phone that will alert you no matter where you are in case a severe weather warning is issued for your area. And then just every once in a while, make sure you check the radar, see what's coming. If you're in eastern Alabama, there's a good chance the storms will get to you a little bit later than they are in west Alabama, right? Because they're going to move in from Mississippi and track westward. So eastern Alabama may have a little more time before they get there. But they're thinking storms could just crop up anywhere during the day today. So just be on your guard wherever you are. make sure you keep up to date with what's going on. However your favorite way to get weather is, on the radio. I have a couple of good apps on my phone that alert me. They go off, so I can't miss it when there's a warning issued for your area. And then if something were to happen and cross your path while you're on the road, get off the road, get into a sturdy building. You want to get in the center, put as many walls between you and the storm as you can, and just wait it out.
Well, and I know that we actually have a post on AL.com from, I know it was a while back, Leigh, but it's got some of your favorite weather apps, some of the best ones they can get, and several free apps that people can get on their phone as well. So we'll find that link and from our archives and put it here in the comments so people can be aware of that in case they are driving into the state, or in case they just need that extra way to keep an eye on weather. Now, you mentioned again tornadoes, where to go, and how to handle that. So you gave me this really handy graphic here about where to go with a tornado. Just walk us through this. Hopefully we won't need it, but
hopefully we will not. Okay, if a tornado is coming your way, you need to get into the center part of wherever you are in the lowest floor. That's your basic philosophy. Put as many walls between you and the storm as you can. Lowest level, center of the house, a closet, a bathroom, something like that. If you have a helmet of some sort, put that on. Make sure you have hard-soled shoes on in case the worst happens and you have to walk through debris. Let's hope that doesn't happen. But, make sure you're dressed. I mean, that sounds silly, but make sure you're ready. And, the thing to do is today's storms are going to be moving from west to east, right? So know what your county is and know the counties to the west of you. If you see those counties to the west of you lit up with storms, there's a good chance you're next, right? So if that were to happen, then start getting ready. Make sure you have your shoes on. Make sure you have your helmet in your mind, just in case, because the National Weather Service is really good about giving you good lead times in most cases for tornadoes. But we're only talking minutes that you have to get where you need to go and get ready. So have all of those things ready just in case. Another thing, make sure your phone is charged up, especially going into tonight when, storms may be still going on and you're just worn out and ready to go to sleep. Make sure you have a way to wake yourself up in case a warning is issued for your area. Don't rely on those outdoor sirens. They're great for if you're outside, but they're not made to be heard if you're inside, especially at night when you might be snoozing. So make sure you have a weather radio. Those are the gold standard. They will scare you half to death when they go off, but they will wake you up and make sure, that something is coming your way.
Well, and also too, I'll just add a quick lived personal tip. If you go down into that space, if you have pets, make sure you bring your carrier, your leashes. We had a storm last year at some point. I've blocked out, I think, when it was, and down to power line, there was a fire outside of our house, and we had to get our dogs out really quickly. We had to get out and get our dogs, and I didn't. And you would think I'd know this because I've covered so many storms in my career here, but I was not prepared to have my dog leashes and had to go scramble to find the leashes to get them out. So you have pets, make sure you have all of that, because worst case scenario, and again, take it from somebody who knows, you'd rather have that so you can get them out of that house instead of waste that valuable time. So again, one more look here at this map. We're going to leave a link here to Leigh's latest forecast. And Leigh, give us one more time kind of the timing on the storms. When can people start expecting maybe this weather to roll in?
Well, it's here now, and I just glanced, and it looks like there is a tornado warning for parts of west central Alabama. So I can't see exactly where that is, but it's happening now. So just be on your guard today and unfortunately through the night, because storms could happen at any time. There could be multiple rounds of storms, and this cold front's taking its time getting in here. So it's not till that passes late tonight that we'll have a break from this. Just be careful, know where to go, keep an eye on the forecast, don't ignore it, and it will all be fine.
Well, Leigh, that is good advice there. I'm going to let you go because I know you need to pay attention to that warning there, and everybody needs to be paying attention to their area as well. So, Leigh, thank you so much for your forecast. We're going to leave the link here to that updated forecasting and also to all of the apps and all the ways you recommend getting those weather warnings. So, again, thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.